Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're taking a massive leap. We're bridging the gap between just memorizing Cisco's syntax to pass an exam and actually deploying it out in the wild, right into a live production environment. If you've ever stared at a blinking cursor on a router and wondered how to put all the pieces together, you are definitely in the right place.
So picture this real-world scenario. You've got a brand new branch office to spin up from scratch, or maybe an existing remote site just suddenly went dark. It's a situation literally every junior and mid-level network engineer is going to face at some point. We aren't just configuring single isolated features today, we are building an entire operational site.
Here's the game plan for this explainer. We'll kick off with mastering Chapter 19 security, look at access control lists in action, and lock down our logins with AAA. Then we'll hit real-world NAT, branch office DHCP, and finally wrap up with troubleshooting and the golden sequence. To do all of this, we're drawing straight from the Common Cisco Router and Switch Commands reference deck by Virtualization Options LLC. This professional guide is going to be our absolute authoritative blueprint today, making sure you have the exact, actionable commands you need on the job. Section 1. Mastering Chapter 19 Security, from Theory to Production. What's really fascinating here is how these topics all come together. You've got ACLs, SSH, AAA, NAT, and DHCP. In a vacuum, they seem like, well, actually, scratch that. They just feel like random, isolated textbook chapters. But out in the wild, these are exactly the configurations you run sequentially when spinning up a new site. They are literally the building blocks of a secure, functional branch office. Section 2. Access control lists in action. Apply, test, and remove. Here's the reality of ACLs. A single typo can lock you completely out of your own network. That's why documentation is absolutely crucial. When you're writing an ACL, a string of IP addresses makes perfect sense today, but it's going to look like complete gibberish in 6 months. So use remark statements inside your named ACLs to document the purpose of each entry. Document it now, and your future self will definitely thank you. The real-world workflow goes exactly like this. Step 1, you apply the policy inbound on your interface. But don't just walk away. Step 2 is vital. You have to verify active hits by watching those match counters to make sure the policy is catching the right traffic. And step 3, always know how to cleanly remove it if something breaks. Apply, verify, and always have an escape plan. Section 3, locking down logins with AAA. Securing administrative access. We have to make sure engineers logging into this new router are properly authenticated. The syntax here is brilliant. First, name your TechX server and punch in its IP address. But the real magic is that third command. You set TechX Plus as your primary, but you keep the local router accounts as a fallback.
But listen, you aren't done just because you hit enter. You have to test that fallback. SSH into the box to verify TechX Plus succeeds, and then literally disconnect or block the server to prove your local fallback actually works. Configuring AAA without testing local access is a guaranteed recipe for a 3 a.m. lockout nightmare when your WAN link drops.
Section 4. Real-world NAT configurations. Connecting the branch to the internet. You've got 2 completely different scenarios here that solve totally different problems. Scenario 1 is dynamic NAT. You use this for your general office staff. It maps a whole group of internal users to an external IP pool so they can browse the web. Scenario 2 is static NAT. This is a permanent mapping. You use this when a specific internal asset, like a web server, absolutely must be reachable from the outside on a specific public IP. Executing dynamic NAT is incredibly straightforward if you just follow the flow. Tell the router which way the traffic is going. Mark your LAN as the inside interface, mark your WAN as the outside interface. Once that's done, use show IP NAT translations to verify. If you don't see those mappings actively translating in real time, your users are definitely not getting online.
Section 5. Branch Office DHCP Setup. Automating IP assignments.
Now that we've got internet, we need to hand out IPs to laptops and phones. But check out this workflow. Before you set the network, the default router, or the DNS servers, you absolutely must exclude your static IPs first. I'm talking gateways, printers, switches. If you skip this, the router is going to happily hand your printer's IP to someone's smartphone, and you've got massive IP conflicts on day 1. Once that pool is live, you have to monitor its health. Show IP DHCP pool gives you the big picture utilization stats, so you know you aren't running out of addresses. And Show IP DHCP binding is your granular proof. It shows you the active MAC to IP leases, proving that devices are actually pulling IPs from your new router.
Section 6. Troubleshooting and the golden sequence. Methodical outage resolution. Okay, the perfectly configured branch office suddenly goes dark. First rule, do not panic. Be methodical. Start at layer 3 with show IP route. Is the subnet entirely missing? If so, you've got a routing issue. If it's there, move to show IP interface brief. Is the WAN physically down? If the interface is up, run show CDP neighbors detail to check for layer 2 failures like cabling mismatches. Just narrow it down step by step. And before we get to the ultimate diagnostic sequence, remember this absolute golden rule. Document everything. Apply clear descriptions on every single interface. Add those ACL remarks we talked about, and keep your backups fresh. Solid documentation makes solving these outages infinitely faster for you and your whole team. All right, here it is, the golden sequence. This is the exact diagnostic path you need to run in the first 5 minutes on a broken device. Minute 1, show version for uptime and reload reasons. Minute 2, show IP interface brief to scan all interface states. Minute 3, show IP route to confirm your paths. Minute 4, show running config to review the active setup. And minute 5, show log to surface recent security events or flaps. Run this in order every single time, and you've got the complete picture. By mastering these real-world Chapter 19 configurations, you're no longer just memorizing syntax. You are bridging the gap to production. You are provisioning branches, securing access, translating addresses, handing out IPs, and troubleshooting like a pro. You're engineering real solutions. So the only question left to ask is, what exactly are you going to build next with this new toolkit? Thanks for hanging out for this explainer, and keep building.